Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 4 of the Monday Q&A, so let's get to the first question. Push abs out or suck abs in when squatting and deadlifting? Well, I can tell you that if you suck your abs in on either one, you're going to have to take about 100 pounds off the bar. Your 500-pound squat's going to turn into a 400-pound squat real fast. What you need if you want the best stability, you're going to need full lungs, full belly full of air, and your abs are going to have to be pushed out to some extent in order to get the best stability to move the most weight, and that includes even when you're doing higher rep work. Because otherwise you're going to get pooped out and your core is going to give out before you get to the higher reps that you're trying to reach. So you've got to push those abs out. You can't really suck them in. All right, next question. It's clear that naturally boosting your test levels does nothing for your muscle gains, but do you think if someone naturally raises testosterone levels by, let's say, 50%, that person would notice differences in his mood or behavior? All right, here's the problem we have with that. You use the word naturally. How are you going to boost your testosterone levels 50% consistently without a syringe and a bottle of testosterone? You've basically set up an impossible scenario. There aren't any testosterone boosters out there that would boost it 50% and keep it there. There are some that give some small boosts for short periods of time, but they're not consistent. And you can't even do that with diet. So I don't understand the question itself. You can't do that. You're only going to see, in terms of your average levels over a 24-hour period, as far as anything you can do that does not involve drugs, you're going to see very, very small boosts. You're not going to see a 50% boost. All right, next question. Hi, Jason. I apologize if this is inappropriate, probably on several levels, but I would really like you to tell everyone what is the big deal if someone is natural or not. There isn't a big deal. I don't know why you guys pester me with this shit. Why should anyone care if someone is on or off the gear? I am new to this. I started lifting last year, but everywhere I turn, there is this issue, and it seems to be blown out of proportion. Maybe I am just naive. Okay, here's the only time it matters. If a person is trying to sell you something with the claim that they've got X results using this product or this program or this diet drug-free, then it becomes a big issue. That is the number one reason it is a big issue in this industry. Because people are using it to scam people. And I don't even like the issue of the false hopes, because if someone is genetically elite and they don't use steroids, they're probably going to have a better physique than you're going to get on steroids. So in that case, I think that one, the false hopes, is irrelevant. If someone has a truly impressive physique and is winning top natty bodybuilding shows, it probably doesn't matter whether they use steroids or not. You're not going to obtain that. And you shouldn't be trying to obtain the look of a competitive bodybuilder if you're not on stage, because it's unhealthy as fuck even if you're natural. To diet down that lean, and that's generally what defines a competitive bodybuilder from someone who is just a gym rat or a powerlifter or a strength athlete, is the level of leanness they attain, which you shouldn't be trying to do. Hell, they shouldn't even be doing it, in my opinion, from a health perspective. I would rather see someone be on conservative doses of steroids at 10% body fat than a natural drop themselves down to 4.5% body fat. I think the former is going to be healthier than the latter. So that shouldn't even be an issue. I would say the only other real issue with it is my own personal political agenda, and I've always freely admitted this. I think it should be brought out in the open, and not just necessarily for these bodybuilders, because who cares? Nobody follows bodybuilding. I would like to see all your top athletes be brought out, and my reason is because I would like to see social change and reform on this issue. I think the countries like the US, where it's a felony and people go to prison for this stuff, that we need to highlight that since all of your heroes are using it already, you can't do anything about it. The governments have historically sponsored this. The U.S. government has always made sure that its athletes are getting these drugs that are felonies for them to possess. All of this needs to come out so that it allows more basic freedom for people who choose to do this as part of their lifestyle, and it gets more social acceptance. Because I think the demonization of it has been blown way out of proportion. And the laws have been blown out of proportion in a lot of countries. Now, here in the UK where I live, it's not in that situation. There's the social stigma exists to the same degree, but the laws don't, because the parliament here has realized that it's all basically stigma and demonization, and the research and the medical data isn't there to actually show a reason for them to outlaw the stuff. So that's really what it comes down to, is an issue of social stigma and laws. That is a good reason to bring it out in the open. As far as some of the other stuff, not really, unless they're just trying to con you. And that's the big issue, is that if it's causing people to spend money on stuff that they don't need, that isn't going to help them, because someone is claiming that this method or this product helped them and they really didn't because they are on drugs, it does become a serious issue. Outside of that, I don't think it matters. I have never cared about this myself. The only reason I got involved in this was because of the overwhelming outcry of my subscribers begging me to do it. And I waited months to do so. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.